everyone, welcome back to RJK English. This is an academic discussion. So again, for this, I'm giving my point of view. This is for advanced English learners. Think about things on a larger level. I may say something that you don't agree with, especially if I mention your country. So you may hear something that you don't agree with. That's okay. So this is about expanding your way of talking about English and what you can do if you don't agree with something, or if you do, write to me about it. Write to me about it within RJK English, or write to me about it here, and we can discuss back and forth. Maybe you want to write an essay on it, and we can talk back and forth. I'm going to be talking about this book, Slavery and Freedom by James Oakes. And I'm actually going to talk about one particular thing that he brought up, and I'm going to relate it to Annihilation of Caste by Ambedkar as well. Ambedkar was a great thinker, helped write the Constitution in India. He was an untouchable of the untouchable caste, which means very low in the caste system. If you don't know about the caste system, you could think about a low class. Sometimes, in a country, someone can be from a class that wouldn't allow them to be part of Oxford University or something like that. Okay? In the southern part of the United States, we had slavery. The southern part of the US is also somewhat different from the rest of the US by having a little bit more of a fixed cultural system and a high sense of honor. Now, I don't think that's exactly the way it is now, but there are remnants of this. In the southern part of the United States. What he says is, in places, and this is historically, where there has been slavery, along with it is a high sense of honor. What is honor? So if we think about China or Japan, they would sometimes talk about losing face, right? There's nothing, I'm not going to say that there's something wrong with this, though it can lead to violence and things like this. All of us have honor systems. So what he says is, if you have slavery, I'm going to just have this, like a scale. If you have slavery, then you also have a high sense of honor. This is what he says. And why is that? In slavery, the person has zero rights. The people that are enslaved have zero rights. You can sell their family members. You have power over their children. You have power over whether they have children or not. You can tell them to work at any time. You can murder them. They are degraded. Okay, even like serfs, and he mentions this in Russia, the serfs before the revolution, in some ways were almost to slavery level. So you have dishonored this group, and you've said that I'm allowed to do that. You've degraded humanity. You've said I'm allowed to do that. Now, because of that, it's very important to show that you are not part of that group. And he argues that makes your sense of honor have to be very, very high. So I have to say, I'm not like those slaves. I have a lot of power myself. And if anybody says otherwise, we're going to shoot each other. So this is an interesting thing to think about for your own society. I thought of the caste system and Ambedkar's Annihilation of Caste. He argues, and I don't know that I agree with this, but he argues that the caste system has to be completely abolished. I'm not going to take a stand on that right now. And he says because the untouchables are treated basically almost like slaves. And he actually came to the US and he studied here, and he compared the African American experience in the US to untouchables in India. What he also points out is that just like in the South in the US, there were only a few people that were rich. They were the slave owners. The other people were usually very, very poor. It was basically a feudal system in the South. Well, the honor system perpetuated throughout the strata of that system, meaning you could be a poor white person who looked in anger at the property owner, but you also had honor in that you would say, anybody below me, I can treat them however I want. And Ambedkar says that it's the same within the caste system within India. You can argue whether or not. I would like to get your arguments back. So he says within each of the castes, they have a high sense of honor that you have to stay within that caste. If you don't, we'll kick you out. It's quite an interesting concept to think about. And it's good to think about for your own country. Do you have a high sense of honor? And is that connected at all to this? Now, I would say that Japan, I think, has a high sense of honor, and it tends to be individual, but I don't know that it's connected to anything with slavery. There was a feudal system. So you tell me what you think. It might be that there can be honor outside of this, but when there are slavery systems, the honor then does show up within it. But think about this a little bit and see if it fits. Again, for me, in the US, it makes sense because people in the South, even now in the US, say that Civil War wasn't about slavery and all this, and we could argue that. But the South did want slavery to stay. And that was even down to the people that didn't even benefit from slavery. What were they fighting for? They were fighting for their honor. A lot of times honor ends up being about women, how our women are treated. If you touch the women, it dishonors us all, and there can be that plays into it. But they didn't benefit from the system. But that honor system was perpetuated where they didn't want to step down. Because what if they stepped down to the point of being a slave? They would lose all of their honor, right? So it's something to think about. Let me know what you think. Write to me. Tell me, Alex, I think that's crazy. Whatever. Use your English. Even write an essay to me, and we can talk back and forth. I would love to hear your comments. All right. See you later. Hi, everyone. Welcome to RJK English. Make sure to like and subscribe, and that will help me make more of these videos. I'm on YouTube and on Instagram, and see us on Facebook, and we can talk further.